Imagine a world where the mastermind behind Game of Thrones secretly shaped a comic book saga that's now at the heart of James Gunn's DC Universe. Yes, George R.R. Martin, the man who's kept fans waiting for the Winds of Winter, has another epic tale up his sleeve, and it's not what you'd expect. While the eagerly anticipated next installment of his fantasy series remains elusive, Martin's creative fingerprints are all over Salvation Run, a DC comic that's recently been thrust into the spotlight thanks to Gunn's ambitious plans for the DCU. Back in 2007, long before the Iron Throne was cast aside, Martin teamed up with John Miller to co-create a story that would lay the groundwork for Salvation Run. Originally conceived as an Elseworlds tale, a standalone narrative outside the main DC universe, the concept was bold. DC's most notorious villains, stranded on an inescapable planet, forced to survive and build a society. But here's where it gets controversial. Martin's vision was for a decade-spanning saga, where characters would evolve, die, and even start families, transforming chaos into civilization. Sound familiar? It's practically Game of Thrones in space. Creative differences eventually led Martin and Miller to step away, leaving the project in the hands of writers Bill Willingham and Lila Sturges. The limited series explored the villain's struggle for survival, but it lacked the sweeping scope Martin had initially envisioned. Fast forward to today, and James Gunn is hinting that his adaptation of Salvation Run might just resurrect Martin's original ambitious idea. But here's the twist. Even Gunn didn't realize Martin was the brain behind it until later, calling it one of those life is so strange moments. Originally titled Exiles in Paradise, the story was meant to be far more than a 7-issue series. Martin dreamed of a sprawling narrative where wars would be fought, alliances forged, and a new society would rise from the ashes of brutality. Gunn's recent comments suggest his take could mirror this grand vision, blending Martin's original intent with the DCU's future. And this is the part most people miss. Could Salvation Run become the lost of supervillain stories, with Christopher Smith, Peacemaker, leading the charge on a planet of Earth's most unwanted? The big question remains, how much of Martin's story will make it into Gunn's adaptation? With no plans for a third season of Peacemaker, could we see a spin-off show centered on this villainous colony? More importantly, will we get to experience it before the Winds of Winter finally arrive? What do you think? Is Martin's DC comic vision as exciting as his Westeros saga? Or is this just another detour on the road to Winterfell? Let's debate in the comments.